life is not about trying to come out ahead. It's not about being at the top of a leaderboard. It's not about finishing fastest or first. What it really is about is getting up every day with the mindset that you're going to treat the day sort of like you would a game that has no firm objectives. It has no victory conditions. You're just there to play. And yet, you want to play in a way which is most likely to give you experience points. You want to play correctly. And so even if the game you're playing isn't extremely hard, you can still have clear objectives of what a good playthrough looks like. Now, I was playing Bus Simulator the other day, and I thought that was a really good example of this. I'm not racing the bus. I'm not trying to get to the finish line first. It's not that kind of a game. And yet, if you try to drive your bus in Bus Simulator expertly, efficiently, without crashing, without forgetting to signal, without running over pedestrians or doing anything else in the game that you're not supposed to, well, then the game can have a level of challenge. And then I thought about my everyday life. Does everyday life have similar balances of the mundane and the challenging? I would say so. It's kind of interesting how we can think to ourselves that we would like to have an exciting life, and our lives aren't exciting enough. Life can feel mundane. It can feel like an exercise in futility. It can feel as if it's just not really enough. You go to the office and the same basic things happen again and again. But if you really stop and you think about it, how many things are there in your life that you can focus on being more mindful about? Focus on not gossiping about people. Focus on being more positive. Focus on doing your small job, however mundane it might appear to be, with passion and purpose, professionalism and grace, all of those things. When you start focusing on doing things the right way, even if the things you're doing are simple, when you really pay attention to how you do them, to the attitude you have underlying them, it starts to be apparent that they aren't as easy as they seem. And we've all probably heard about the law of attraction, that premise that if you think about positive things, you're more likely to draw positive things into your life. Maybe that's true. But the key to success there isn't probably to live your life in a lotus position, humming and trying to clear your mind. It's not quite like that. It's more along the lines of trying to be very focused on doing the small things right. The small things being the things of the moment that you're currently living in. not the past, not the present, just to devote your whole mind, your whole body, your whole heart to the purpose before you at this specific moment. And if you can do that, and you really start to pay attention to the attitudes you have, to the thoughts you have, then every moment starts to be a challenge. Look at it sort of like a game. Your goal is to avoid having negative thoughts. And if you do have a negative thought, which you will, your goal is to process it quickly and release it so that you can move on to your next objective. It's all about doing all of life's small, mundane things with a sense of joy and purpose and deliberateness. But when we focus on the moment completely and entirely, a strange thing happens. We reach a point where we're so busy focused on the moment, doing what needs to be done. We don't have time to focus on the negative energy. We don't have time to feed the toxic things, which we used to give our energy to. And we just enter a state of flow, of being, of focusing only on the things of the now. And then the rest we leave up to the universe. And maybe that's the test. It's when we let go of the past and we let go of the future and we live purely in the moment, trying to do what we're doing every moment well, correctly, expertly, gracefully. Then we're able to start reaping the rewards. It's sort of like having a garden. It's not so much that you're going to necessarily force the plants to grow faster. It's when you start making sure that you don't have any weeds, making sure you have an environment conducive to growth all the time, then there's nothing to stop beautiful things from growing in that space, because you've eliminated all of the negative things which potentially would have choked out positive growth before. I think it's interesting how sometimes good things come to us when we stop looking. And no matter how much we might think that life is filled with aridity and disappointment, there's a lot of happy coincidences which happen just at that juncture when we feel like giving up all hope and we think that maybe everything was for naught. Then something happens that restores just a little bit of our hope. It's when we give up and then we just focus on doing the best we know how to do in every moment we have. That's when we're entrusted with something greater, something more. It's strange how often it isn't until we surrender to the idea that we might not get what we want at all that the universe seems to open doors that we never thought would open. And yet it all begins with a concerted determination to make every moment about chasing the small, meaningful successes, about being mindful in the little things, And when we become mindful about the little things, that opens up the opportunity for big things to fall into place. The power of attraction, I really do believe, is a real thing. I think when we start to truly focus on doing what we need to be doing in the moment, that's when we're more likely to get what we want to manifest itself. There is a quote that I like from the Epic of Gilgamesh, written circa the year 2000 BC, about 4,000 years ago. It says something to the effect of, "What you seek, you shall never find. For when the gods made man, they let death be his lot. Eternal life they withheld. Let every day be full of joy. Love the child that holds your hand. Let your wife delight in your embrace. For these alone are the concerns of man." Surrender is the place to begin. And it's amazing how good life can be when we stop chasing the future and we stop being frustrated about the past and we just surrender to be completely invested in the now. It seems cliche, it seems simple, but when you really start looking at every moment mindfully, then you start realizing just how much there is to do. To take all of the little things that are seemingly mundane and elevate them from being boring tasks that you're just fast forwarding through and turn them into meaningful acts of service, which help you be a better person and help you to better serve others and help you grow spiritually and help you be a lighthouse in an often demon-haunted world. It's not about what we do. It's about the spirit that guides us when we do it. That's really what matters more than anything else. And it's important to realize that absent a race, it's a privilege to serve. You don't have to come out first. You don't have to get through the content fastest. All you really need to do is be absolutely determined to do your best in the moment, to do what you're doing correctly and in a way that is going to be worthy of being proud of it when all is said and done. There's no pride in wanting to do something just so that you can say that the task is behind you. There's no value in having a friendship if you're going to passively judge the people that you're around and be critical of them in spirit, even if you don't say so outwardly. There's no point in going to work if your intent is to do the bare minimum without trying your best to make the work you do count, even if it's just in a small way. There's no point having a attitude of service if you're going to chase it with a negative attitude of acting like you're above the things that you're doing. There's no reason to do anything if you're not going to make some endeavor to do it right. So if you're not going to make a point to do things wrong, and you are going to do something, then focus on doing it right, and doing it with the right attitude, and doing it with a spirit of service. It seems simple till you actually think about all the different attitudes and thoughts that go through your head, and you start realizing we all have a lot of negative attitudes that we allow to foster in our hearts. We all have passive things we do that detract from our days, detract from our peace, detract from our sense of joy. And it's not really hard to let go of them either. You just have to realize that they don't benefit you, that that's not the goal of your life, that you don't want to be a negative person, that you don't want to focus on things that don't edify you and don't build you up. Just let them go. And I think changing your attitude is not so much about forcing you to do something different. It's not about saying that you have to change the way you look at things or else, or you have to pretend that you care when you don't. It's not really about that. It's more about understanding the foundational why. Like, why does it matter for you to have a good attitude? Why does it matter for you to focus on following a correct process? Why does the way you deliver a message matter? Why do you want to invest in other people? And when you start realizing those things, then the actions sort of take care of themselves if you understand the underlying reason for why caring and working on yourself is worth the effort. And then good things start to fall into place when we become focused on stewardship. And that's really what it's all about. It's about being a good steward of the little things you have in your life. Sometimes it takes us a long time to get to a place where we learn how to be good stewards of the little things in our lives, and instead we just get frustrated and we say, well, you know, if I had more of the big things I've asked for, then I would gladly be a steward of the little things. But really, it's not about that. It's about learning how to be a good steward of the little things before you get the big things. It's about learning to have peace in your life, even when you don't have other people in your life that you wish you did. It's about taking pride in the job you have, even when you don't have the job you maybe wish for. It's being perfectly content with things that are imperfect, that gives us the ability to grow and prepare for higher things down the road. I do like to believe, though, that the universe might indeed be changed by the thoughts we have. And if that's true, then it might just be the case that some of the breakthroughs we wish for, we hope for, or we pray for might just be waiting on us to change our attitude. And not just to change it on the outside, but to actually change it genuinely, to reach a place where we're not just going through the motions on the surface in hopes of getting a superficial reward, but we're doing them from a place of deep care and understanding and a true spirit of peace. It is not about pretending to do good. It's about actually embracing the spirit of good in everything that you do. Not about the letter of the law, but about the spirit of it. So in all things, make every day a day when you get up and say, I'm going to do the very best that I can to speak well, to do well, to be attentive to detail, to be responsible in any way I can, to be as positive as I can, to be as understanding, as inclusive as I can be, and go through your life every day looking inwardly to analyze your thoughts, to analyze your actions, and to ask for how you can do just a little bit better with the small things. And then have faith that when the time is right, if the time is right, the big things will fall into place. And as with all things, remember and always believe that sometimes miracles do happen. And even if we're not entirely certain of that, it's worth us having faith along the way. Because if there's any truth in the possibility that positive thoughts can attract positive outcomes, we owe it to ourselves to believe that. And if it's not true, then what do we stand to lose? Because even if there isn't any magic law of attraction in the universe, having the right attitude every day is still going to give us the best possible life. Wherever you find yourself, as always, thanks so much for watching, and good luck on your adventure. Till next time.